Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. I'm Tim. Welcome to my channel. This is just a stream of my workouts. Having lots of fun today doing the chest, doing some bench pressing. So this will be the second time I hit the 70-pound dumbbells. So stay tuned for that. It's going to be so much fun. Just started working on the 70-pound dumbbells last week, going for those 3 sets of 10 to move up. We'll see how it goes. Hopefully it doesn't take forever to get there. I'm going to start though by warming up with these 10-pound dumbbells because I don't want to hurt myself. All right, let's go. So I started working on, instead of just doing a before, like I was doing biceps on a certain day, so I'd do like biceps and then do on like Monday and then do chest on Tuesday and Wednesday do legs and sticking to a very like strict schedule. Now I'm doing a rotating schedule because I kept missing days and missing workouts. Uh, but because of that, today I'm doing chest, and yesterday I was doing a ton of push-ups. So this doesn't work out as well this week, but hopefully, it'll still be good. Just gotta pay attention to make sure I don't do anything stupid. Which I'm prone to do stupid things, so. Man, I tell you, one of the hard parts about parenting is one of my kids is exactly like me. Like they have the same kind of thought process. They get distracted. They don't listen, and it's just like me. And I really want them to have a better life than me. And so I'm trying to like get them to think better and to pay attention. But it's so hard to not just throw my hands up and be like, hey, listen, it's just gonna be a rough life. You're gonna have to figure this out, kid. Because I never entirely figured it out. Even talking to my wife, like she'll say something and I'll completely miss it because I'll be off in some remote thought and completely distracted. And then my kid does the same thing to me, and it's like, yeah, this is just who we are. It's not going to get any better. You do want it to be better, but there's just, I don't know. I don't have an answer for it yet. Like, can I make my kids better than me when they have the exact same problems that I never fixed or can't fix? Like, I look at my kid and my kid does something where I've told them not to, or they're doing something without thinking, or they're trying to be funny, and they do something that's not great. And I think like, hey, like, why can't you not do that? And I hear myself getting ready to say the same thing, like, why don't you think? And sometimes, I say like, well, why don't you think this through? And I just hear my dad and my mom and countless other people telling me the same thing, and it's just like, man, it's just not gonna work. I'm gonna have to teach my kid the same thing that I had to learn, which is be really good at admitting when you're wrong and really good at apologizing. That's the only saving grace, is being able to apologize. Be like, yeah, I screwed up. I've gotten really good at apologizing. That's that one reason. I feel good. I feel like things will be better though for my kid because I recognize the struggle and can adapt my parenting to fit that particular struggle. There's just nothing you can. I mean, I don't really know anything to do for it. You just lose focus and you think about something else, and that will be their life. It'll be a fun life. I think that's the one thing that people like don't realize to an extent is that being easily distracted means that you usually find countless things to amuse you. And you just go from one amusing thought to another amusing thought, one amusing rabbit hole to another. You don't get stuck on like one horrible thought for very long. There's a plus side to having an unfocused mind. The part that's rough is that when you do focus on something and someone breaks your focus, it can be very difficult not to like be incredibly upset. I have to try not to do like tasks that I get too focused on around my wife and kids. I don't want to get upset with them for breaking my concentration. That's why I stopped like playing. I don't really play video games around my kids. I think it's very silly to like get upset with my kids over a video game. So I just don't play in front of them. The only solution I can come up with. It's fun though, as my kids are finally old enough to start playing my Super Nintendo, and we've been playing Mario on the Super Nintendo. And the thing that's different about old school games versus current games is most multiplayers now are you play multiple people. Like you get a split screen and you get to do your own thing. But with the old school games, you had to wait your turn, and that's like bringing in a whole new element that my kids aren't used to. Because my kids have their own like tablets and they play a game on my PlayStation. Like they're really into Minecraft. They can play together simultaneously, but they do like the Mario, but they can only play Mario one at a time. So they have to learn patience. Set up the dumbbells for the big 70 pounds. Let's go. Time to go big or go home. Little apprehensive about the 70 pounds. It's definitely, I'll make sure I don't hurt myself. So I just check in, make sure everything's good. And let's do this. There you go. Whew, that's 10. First set done. All right. I've been counting calories again, and I am so hungry. Like yesterday, I felt really, really hungry. This morning, I feel very hungry. That's annoying. Nice part is hunger is something that you get used to. But what's crazy is I'm not even like I'm still eating like 2,000 calories. I just shouldn't. I feel like I shouldn't be so hungry, but I am. I've done really like serious cuts. I've done like 1,300 calories, and but usually by the time I'm cutting down to 1,300 calories, I've been doing it for a couple of months. For some reason, it's 2,000 calories. I still feel hungrier than normal. All right. Do this. This weight's not going to lift itself. All right. That was my second set of 10. Last week, I only did actually 2 weeks ago because of the rotation. I only did one set of 10, then one set of 7, and one set of what did I do? One set of 6. So 2 sets of 10, that's a good improvement. Let's keep that going. And having more than a week off of a muscle is going to be interesting. So like last week, I did biceps on Friday, which means with a rotation, I won't do biceps till next Monday. And that'll be a big step off or change. The chest, like I'm not so worried about because I do push-ups on Monday. Like I feel like my chest will always get something done to it every week. All right, here we go. All right, that's 8. Still better than last time. I made it to 8. I'm gonna do another set. See the second we'll hit another set. All right, here we go. Bonus set. I always gotta love bonus sets. Bonus sets are the key to progress. Don't give yourself too much of a break. Let's go. All right, 4. Whew. All right, 4 bonus ones. Gonna take a trip on down to 60 pounds now. All right. I'm for 60 pounds. That was just 8. Ooh. It was like cramping for a second there. That was just 5. Oh. Going down to 50 pounds. Right back. All right, let's get down to 50 pounds. Got about 10 more minutes. I started very late today, but got 10 more minutes. I gotta say, last night I slept more sound than I've slept in a long time. I had dreams, man. I was like, I felt so good when I woke up. Sometimes, like, you dream a lot and you feel like you didn't get any sleep, but I don't know what happened. But I had a ton of dreams, but I was out. Felt really good. I think because all the dreams were pretty chill. They weren't like high stress dreams. Maybe that made the difference. Some dreams like that are annoying is like dreaming about old jobs and stuff. But I've learned like, so what happens is I'll be stuck in dreaming about work or something stressful that doesn't matter anymore, and then I'll just wake, I'm working on waking myself up and then just reminding me like, hey dude, like you don't work there anymore. Like stop dreaming about that place. Like that's not your life anymore. And sometimes it's like working back in the group home where you've got a high stress like situations and you just keep going through high stress situations in your dream. And you just have to remind yourself, hey, that's not part of your life anymore. Relax. I do think it's important to make like if you are having a high stress dream, like on the regular, trying to figure out what's the problem and deal with it and get yourself to relax in the real world so you can stop having those dreams. And I find like there's like a couple of things that help with relaxing. Is one, some problems you just have to put in perspective. You're stressed out about something, but if you just put that problem in perspective, it goes away, you know. And then two, sometimes there's like simple things that are a problem that you're stressing over, and you can fix those things, and then you'll stop stressing over them. An example: I used to have a continual dream where something bad would be happening, and I would get a gun. The gun never had bullets, or the gun was broken and wouldn't work. And I would have these dreams like all the time until I bought a gun and I got ammo, and then I never have that dream anymore. I've taken care of that like stress point in the back of my mind. And that might not be the best advice for everyone, like, but finding what's causing the stress, and then just taking care of it, and then moving on. I find is a good tactic. don't just let yourself continually be stressed unnecessarily. Some things you can't help. Some things you can help though. It's funny is we have this like motivation mindset in America where we love success stories, right? Like we love these success stories. Like, oh, there's once a single mom, and she was raising her kid by herself, and she did a good job. And despite all the odds, that kid became president of the United States, Barack Obama. And we look at that story, and we're like, yeah, like that's really cool. Then we look at someone like Elon Musk, who is the richest man in the world, one of the richest men in the world, who came from nothing in comparison to what he is now. And we look at, just people's rise to success. And we think that's great, like that billionaire dream. But then like you can be living a life that's not great, and you like look at that and you're like, oh, that'll never happen. But sometimes there's a message that we miss in those success stories. The success story for you is maybe you don't become a billionaire. Maybe you don't become one of the richest men in the world. Maybe you don't become president of the United States. But if they can hit that, you can definitely fix the smaller problems in your life. It's much easier to get out of a bad working situation. It's much easier to get out of a bad living situation than it is to become one of the richest men in the world. It's easier to get out of a bad situation than it is to become the president of the United States, Barack Obama. Like, you can do these things. It can get better. And I think in life, like we were told, like, oh no, it can't too often, and it can. It can absolutely get better. And I hear people, they rag on the concept, like, oh, you got to pick yourself up from your bootstraps and keep going. And like, oh, that's not fair. That's a supremacist mindset. But the thing is, in my family, like my grandpa was born on a dirt floor, and he's Hispanic, was born in the 40s, and he picked himself up by his bootstraps, and he did it. And that's what he told himself to succeed. And maybe you don't like someone else telling you you need to pick yourself up by your bootstraps and keep going, but you definitely shouldn't tell yourself anything less than that. That should always be your statement to yourself. Because if you're waiting around for someone else to pick you up, it's never going to happen. That's why it's got to be you. And that's the only thing you can say. That's the only thing I can say to myself. Again, you might not like it when someone else says it to you, but what else are you going to tell yourself? I'm just going to sit here and wait. I'm going to wait till someone gives me a hand. That's not going to happen. I mean, you might look at someone's success story and be like, oh, they didn't have to do that. Like, when I was a kid, everybody would tell a story about Bill Gates, who started off in his garage, and then he, like, made his giant company. They don't tell you is, like, his starting point was a lot better than other people's. But regardless, you can look at someone like Bill Gates all day and be like, man, if I came from that family, I would have a better chance. But you didn't. You didn't come from that family. You know, that guy may never have had to overcome the odds that you do, but you're the only one that can change that. All right. That's it for today. I gotta skedaddle. Like I said, you might not like hearing someone tell you, yeah, pull yourself up from your bootstraps, but you should be telling yourself that. That should be your motivation. And don't like complain about other people's success. Just get it done. All right. Thank you very much. Hope you have a good day. Hopefully you can pull yourself up by your bootstraps and not make yourself a bunch of excuses. So, all right. God bless you.